IVM.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Positively Unlimited podcast. In this week's episode, I'm talking about, a very important quality, but something that I consider to be a superpower that most of us have, but we've not realized it and we definitely underuse it. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about I for improvise. So a few years ago, there was this meme that was doing the rounds on the internet. Memes are on the internet, so I was seeing this meme pop up on my timeline very often, and it basically said, start where you are, do what you can, use what you have. Now, why is this important? If anyone out there listening to these podcasts also uses my positivity planner, well, you may have seen this improvise and adapt exercise come in the third book. And the reason why it is important and why these lines are so powerful is because it can ensure that we don't fall into the trap of despair, that trap of helplessness, that trap that uncertainty often lays out for us. Now, what do I mean? Let me first say this, that given how this year is panning out, given the amount of uncertainty that all of us are dealing with right now, given the kind of scenarios that we are facing when it comes to our careers and our life goals, I want everyone to know that this is not a year of cancellations. Life hasn't been cancelled. Life as we knew it was put on pause, and we are being told to adapt. So from March up until now, what we have been doing essentially has been improvising. We went from being a society, a culture that went to work in the morning, came back in the evening, sometimes late at night. We worked 7 days a week, some of us 6 days a week. Some of us, with our own businesses and startups, worked 22 hours out of 24 hours a day. And a lot of other areas of our life were in imbalance. Well, the virus and this outbreak and this lockdown gave us the opportunity to bring a lot of that stuff into balance. It also made a lot of us, have to do a lot of housework, a path that we took for granted. So there's been a lot of adapting that's already been happening since March. Well, that same quality that the universe already triggered within us, it jump-started that within us, that same quality has to now be put to use when we are looking at all our goals. Our life goals have been put on pause. They haven't been cancelled. So what you have to do is to realign those goals, realign your deadlines, and improvise on your action plan. So while you will look at your goal and say, okay, clearly this ain't happening in 2020 and it's going to take me at least till the end of 2021 to get to this, you've got a new deadline for yourself. You may look at your goal and say that, you know what, I no longer want this in this form because after what I've just experienced, I need it in an XYZ form. So you will realign its shape or its outcome, or, maybe even some of your goals, life may not have cancelled it, but you may cancel it because suddenly now they don't seem like things that you want anymore. Okay, so one is that you have to look at your goals, your desires, and realign those in terms of deadline and in terms of outcomes. But once you have done that, what we all need to be doing is we all need to be improvising on the action plan. So I'm going back to that meme and the statements in it. Start where you are, do what you can, use what you have. Now, what do we understand by this? Start where you are, which means stop standing in the when that will happen, then I will do this energy. You start today, you start right now. You start from home, you start from your bedroom, you start from your laptop or your phone. It doesn't matter. Whatever action you need to take, it starts right now from where you are. Do what you can. If all you can do right now is research, then all you do is that. Make sure that you work on that business plan. You do your research. You have the conversations with people that matter. right? And by the time you get through that step, the next step will open up for you. And number 3, use what you can. Don't sit around saying, I don't have XYZ, so I cannot do this. There's always a substitute. There's always a way around it. Someone might say that, oh, but my laptop is in the office. I've been working off my phone. How can I create a presentation on my phone? My friend, you can. There are many different apps out there. There are many different websites out there. There's always a way to do it. You can. So it's all about flowing around the obstacles. Improvising is not necessarily about breaking through a problem or an obstacle. Very often it is about flowing around it. And that is what this week is about. So whatever you may be facing, whether it is in your personal space, it's an emotional issue, it's something to do with relationships, maybe it is something to do with household chores and how the house is functioning, systems that may have to come into place. Maybe it is about work and, your career goals, your work goals. Maybe it is about the larger dreams and aspirations that you have. It may be about buying that house or that car that you had planned. Whatever it is, write the goal down and look at the action plan and start to improvise. Everything in 2020 is about adapting. And in order to adapt, we need to improvise. It's as simple as that. So the word for you this week, the mindset for you this week, and the tool to put into practice this week is to improvise. I for improvise. And on that note, I'm going to head out from here. I hope that you guys are enjoying this series of A to Z. If it is helping you, do DM me. My Instagram handle is Positivity Angel. Also remember that all previous episodes are up on the IVM website as well as the IVM app. And you can use many of them in many different ways. This episode, like I said, can help you through a personal problem or a professional problem. There are episodes that can teach you to communicate in your relationships or at work. There are episodes that can teach you to realign your desires. For those who want to realign their goal, you may want to listen to the very first episode of this podcast, which was A for align. You may also want to listen to D for determined versus desperate. You may want to listen to V for victim versus victor energy. There's so many. Just go onto the IVM website and you can scroll through and listen to them in any order. But yes, remember to get in touch with me and let me know how it has been helping you. My Instagram handle is Positivity Angel.
I hope you enjoyed that show. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money. Do definitely check out our social media accounts. We've been doing some really cool stuff over there. There are a bunch of recommendations from hosts. I think you'll really enjoy the content that we're putting out there. And make sure you don't miss your favorite shows. Cyrus Says has been putting out some great stuff, as is the Prakati podcast, all about policy. Has been doing some really, really fun stuff. The guys at Football Shitball and Football Twaddle are continuing to release episodes as well, which are really interesting. Paisa Vaisa Anupam's been having guest after guest, just killing it. Pulya Bazi's been doing so well. Postcards from Nowhere. All these shows are really, really doing well and really, really putting out great stuff. Appreciate the efforts that the hosts are putting in the lockdown. And thanks for listening, and we hope to catch you again next week.
Entertainment is like food for the brain. It's a window to culture and a great way to understand the world around us. The internet has changed what it means to be an entertainer, creating new storytellers with millions of fans. It has spawned a new breed, the story-sellers, those behind the scenes creating the business for this ecosystem. They work with brands, platforms and channels who are keen to capitalize on an audience hungrier than ever for more stories. I'm Vineet Kanabar, and I have a ringside view to how stories are told and sold. On my show, I bring you creators, artists, executives, and marketers for a freewheeling conversation around the business of entertainment. Tune in to Storytellers and Storysellers for personal stories, analysis, and criticism every Thursdays as I talk to the brightest minds telling or selling great stories today.